Hi, Kelsey. I'm really glad to see you've got your portfolio up. There's just one thing that I wanted to let you know about that I hope you have time to fix for the portfolio, and I thought I could do it a little bit more clearly if I did a video rather than tried to write it down. So what it has to do with is this is the research essay here about memory in the courtroom, and it has to do with your use of sources. So there are two things. One, when you go down to the works cited here, um, it looks a little suspicious here, as if you might have the first name and the last name um, mixed up. Emma would be. Let me just check here, just to make sure. Yes, accept cookies. It's it's Emma Bryce. Okay, so when you go to do the works cited, you want to put the last name first, so it should be Bryce, comma, Emma, period. And this one with Laura Bile looks the same way, that it's probably Bile, comma, Laura. This Laney here, you've got in APA format instead of MLA format. I can tell that because of the ampersand, which we don't use in MLA. So it should be Laney, comma, C, or the full name if it says the full name in the article, and then and spelled out AND, and then this one should be switched with the first name first. So it's Laney, comma, C, and EF Loftus. The 2020 does not go here, it goes later on down here after the publisher. This looks like, I'm not sure if this is a book title or an article title. It seems like it would be, I'm not sure with this editor's. It seems like it's an article in this book. This needs quotation marks around it. I, quotation mark, eyewitness testimony and memory biases, period, closed quotation mark. And then these letters, the testimony, memory, and biases should be capitalized. And then this one looks okay. And then you're going to alphabetize them. So Bile, if it's Bile, comma, Laura, period, that was come first. And then Bryce, comma, Emma, and then Laney, and then Woolston. Okay, so that's one thing to get that. That's a small thing. The more important thing is that you're missing in-text citations. So each of these sources here, because you put it in this list, it means that you used something from each of those sources in your text. And you have to tell your reader where these things were used. So if we go to the beginning here and look, the memory wars, if the memory wars, that phrase came from a particular source, at the end of this sentence, between the Y and the period, you'd put the Y space, then parentheses, and then in parentheses you'd put the author, the last name of the author of the source that had this in it. So this one is not, I've heard the memory wars is a fairly commonly used phrase, so you might not need a citation for that if it showed up in several of your sources. But then when we get down to things like this, 70% of the people later exonerated through DNA evidence, the reader can tell that that came from a particular source. It wasn't off the top of your head. So you're going to, again, need between the E and the period, a space, and then the last name of the author of the source. So any specific kind of information, certainly any of these statistics, any specific dates, any idea that you got, anytime you say something like, I had somebody else wrote about, in writing about this topic, said something like, the main reason that cases are thrown out of court is because of faulty eyewitness testimony. Well, that's the kind of thing that you can't really say off the top of your head. That's something that you're going to need something to back that up. And you don't have to say in the sentence where you got that information, but if you put the parentheses with the last name of the source, that tells your reader that you got that in a particular source. And then if the reader has any question about it, they can go down to your works cited, find the source, and then they can check for themselves. And so it's not you're not the one that has to prove that. The responsibility is on the author of these sources, which is why it's really important to have good quality sources. New York Times, Wired are both reputable sources. This one seems to be as well. So your source quality looks good, but so again, these little things with the works cited are not so crucial, but the in-text citation really is a crucial thing, and I have seen portfolios fail just because of that. Now it's a quick fix, and people can, just take really, a few minutes to fix it. But hopefully you have the time to do that, and that you'll get this, be able to see this video first. So I'm gonna close this out and save it and send it to you in an email. If you have any questions, shoot me an email tomorrow.